How's it going, everyone? I hope you're having a kick-ass week. Not long ago I received some new bottles that I am planning on using, and I realized it's actually been a little bit of a mission finding something that's useful. So I want to talk about what I was looking for and perhaps get a little bit of advice from you guys about what I could use instead. Welcome to Distiller, everyone. This is the channel all about chasing the craft of home distillation and making it a legitimate hobby. So we talk all things distilling, including what to put your distillate in the bottles. If that sounds like what you're into, guys, make sure you have a look around the channel, check it out. If you dig it, make sure to hit the subscribe button, ring the notification bell. It'll be awesome to have you guys on board. So I've been at this for a little over a year now, I think. Wow. And I just, not long ago, pulled my first paycheck out of the YouTube AdSense program. So I've got a little bit of funds to spend on things that I wouldn't have before. And the first thing that I went and bought was new bottles. Like I said, guys, it took me a while to figure out what to buy. They're not easy to come by in New Zealand anyway. So I wanted to talk about what I was looking for, what I suggest looking for if you want to buy bottles instead of scrounging them, and also ask for your help to see if I can find something better, because I'm not entirely happy with these ones. But right before we get onto that, there have been a whole lot of people wishing me well, asking how things are going, and basically wanting to know how the family's doing right now. Thanks heaps to those guys that have been wishing us well. If you don't know, my wife and I have just had twins. They're doing awesome. The family's doing absolutely amazing. I don't want to turn this channel into a family vlog, essentially. It's not what most of you guys are here for, but I do know that some of you do sort of care, and we've sort of turned into friends and stuff. So the twins and the rest of the family will be making little cameos now and then on the channel. My wife has started a little side project called Extraordinary. I'll leave some links down below, and if you want to know what's going on with the family, you can check that out. Anyway, team, let's have a talk about these bottles. So in essence, what I have been looking for in a bottle to put spirits in is, obviously it's got to be glass, and obviously for the lids themselves, I want cork, if I can at all get it. Up until now, the basic plan has been to collect bottles wherever I can get them, and also collect as many different corks as I can find of different shapes, sizes, and use those where I can, or even sand them down or modify them, or of course find bottles that, you know, have corks already, like my big old infinity bottle, which I've been neglecting. I need to put some more stuff in here. Now that is all well and good. It has been doing the job well up until now, but I guess there's two problems with it. One is I don't always know if I'm going to have enough bottles. You know, I can't just get them when I want them. And the second is, of course, that they end up being pretty ugly. I have been sometimes, when I can be bothered, soaking the bottles and removing the labels. For those of you that haven't done it before and that want to try it, I would totally recommend Napisan, OxyClean, PBW, any of those things. It's all pretty much the same thing. Soak it in that overnight, and then most of the labels come off pretty easily. You can do that, but then of course you end up with different shaped bottles all over the place, and to be honest, it's just a pain in the ass. So I thought, seeing as I've got a little bit of cash laying around now for Stillet, I would try and find a Stillet bottle, basically. Something that I know that I can put things in when I have something that I think is kind of special, or just something that I know that I want to have in the house all the time. And I can make it look uniform and a little bit more presentable. Let's be honest, you all know the whole, you know, you eat with your eyes thing. It's kind of the same for me for this. It was the same for me with the home brewing. If I took the time to make a nice label, put it in a clean bottle and label it or something like that, I enjoyed it more, even though I knew it was the same beer. It's just kind of the way it works, I guess. So if you're into that too, guys, let me know. I have seen some really cool photos from some of you of bottles that you've absolutely pimped out with labels and beeswax and little tags and all that sort of stuff, which I think is awesome. If you've got them, send me some photos. I'd love to see them. But here's the problem, guys. It's been really, really, really hard to find these in New Zealand. These are costing me about $3 each, which I'm cool with. A little bit cheaper would be nice, of course. But as soon as I got them, I put them on Instagram, and one of the crew told me straight away that these caps are probably going to start coming apart pretty soon. He did offer a suggestion for a slightly different cap, which I'm going to try next. And just in case, if you're in New Zealand and you want to know where these come from, they're from Arthurholmes. And I will put a link down below for the website. So basically what I do not like about these bottles is one, obviously the cap. Two, I have doubts as to, or I just don't know if that's real cork or not. I'm just going to be blissfully ignorant on that fact for now because I don't have an alternative. And I don't like the fact that I can only get 700ml bottles. It is a pretty good size. I'd probably rather have this than 1 litre only, but I would like to have 1 litre bottles as well. And I'd also like to have little small bottles too. The idea is that I want to be able to put stuff into little sample bottles, small enough that I'm not going to miss what I'm taking away, but I can archive things for later on so I can come back and taste them against something else or just refresh my memory. Perhaps send it off to some experts and get their input on my spirits, what I should be changing, what I'm doing good, those sort of things. What I have so far is this. I don't mind that they're brown. I've got no problem with that whatsoever. They're 50 mils, which is great. The problem is they got plastic lids. Now these guys were so cheap, I was happy to buy them, and the plan was to try and rig something up maybe with some extra wide PTFE tape and put a little bit over, cover it, and then trim it off around the outside or something like that. But essentially I just wanted to get something to be able to get this underway. These little guys are from exactly the same place as the bigger bottles, and they're costing me about 60 cents. So guys, if you know where I can get bottles that are better quality, better sizes or more flexible sizes with better options for the caps in New Zealand, please let me know. That'd be absolutely awesome. So I think it's probably a good idea to get a couple of these filled up, and I actually have a couple of things to put into them. I also think it's about time to talk about some Still It labels to go on these bad boys, and I actually have something cool to tell you about that. But first, one other thing we need to talk about. So this next bit is kind of directed specifically at the friends of Still It, the regulars, the people that come here and hang out. And we've all become friends, which is really cool. If that's not you and you're not here for that sort of stuff, if you just want to know about the labels and the bottles and stuff, I'll put a timestamp over here and you can jump to that now. If you're still here, I'm assuming you're ready for the real talk. So here's the thing, guys. I've been at this for a little over a year, like I said before. I absolutely love it. I've made a bunch of really good friends out of this. I've met some awesome people. I've been exposed to absolutely amazing communities. And of course, I've been able to make some delicious spirits that I probably wouldn't have done without your guys' help. But here's the thing, guys. If I want to keep this up, if I want to keep doing it, I need to turn it into something a little bit more sustainable and something that I can justify my time with. I've had a lot of people basically suggesting that I start doing essentially paywall content through Patreon, which I think is a good idea, but what I don't want to do is kind of pirate this channel or give the people that just want to hang out here and watch the free content less value than what they would have got before I started doing that. Does that make sense? So until I can get to the point where I can justify making, you know, 2 videos or 3, or at the very least an extra video or 2 a month for the Patreons, I just don't really want to go. I don't feel comfortable with that, you know? I don't want to take away from this channel here on YouTube. So I've been thinking about it a little bit, and I think what I want to do is start offering a few more incentives and a few more things that might be interesting to some of you guys on Patreon, and a few rewards for those of you that are already Patreons. Did that make sense? I feel like I was... Anyway. So what I want to do is offer Patreons the direct ability to have some influence on the channel, essentially. And the thing that makes the most sense to me is influence over what I spend money on. What recipe to make, what to make next, those sort of things. What materials to buy or make, what gear to make next or buy next. Distilling related products, whether to buy them and sort of do reviews on and stuff like that. Here's the deal, guys. I do not want to cut the YouTube out totally, but I do want to give the final say over on Patreon. The idea is, team, that I will field an idea or an option or something here on YouTube. I'll get everyone to discuss it down in the comments, and then based on sort of popularity, general idea, or just whatever I like best, I'll create a poll over on Patreon. So the very first thing I want to do this on is, what should I make after the neutral? Now, I've already promised people that I'm going to make a rum, so it has to be a rum, but I want you guys to let me know what kind of rum. So ideally, guys, I would like to hit this one pretty hard, and I'd like to go at something that has at least a pretty high percentage of molasses rather than, you know, just straight sugar or something like that. But I will leave it up to your suggestion. So here's the deal, guys. Comment down below, let me know what you think. In the next video, I'll let you know what is going to be over on Patreon to vote on. Anyone that goes over to Patreon to have a look at it can vote on it. You don't have to be a contributor or anything like that. All right, anyway, back to it. I need to fill some bottles. The first thing that I want to put into these bottles is some white UJSSM. It's what I have on hand, and somehow it feels fitting. This has been proofed down to 41%. Since proofing it down, I've kind of decided that I probably should have left it at more like 45%, but that is what it is. Shit! What have I done? Wow, I just wasted precious UJSSM. That was dumb. And a little bit for the infinity bottle. Like I said, this bad boy's been neglected lately. I have not been topping it up. This next one is another UJSSM, which I have relatively quickly oaked. I won't say aged because it's only been in there a little over a month. It was pretty aggressively oaked, and it was oaked in the same ratio as the blend at the end of the video. I experimented with the microwave and the wood. I'll leave a link for that up top if you want to see what I mean. Woo, that smells good, man. This leads to the next thing. Recently, what I've been doing is just writing straight on bottles with a Vivid, or sticking a bit of masking tape on the bottle and then writing on that. And once again, while it works, while it's totally functional, nothing wrong with it, I'd like to make something a little nicer. I kind of got this idea from someone else, so I cannot claim credit for it. But what I'm thinking I will do is print somewhat generic labels that are laminated. The idea being is that you can write on them with a Sharpie or a Vivid or whatever you want to call it, and then rub it off with rubbing alcohol. Luckily, we got plenty of that laying around in the form of 4-shots. Idea being is you can slap labels on bottles and maybe just have it be like, you know, still it whiskey, with a couple of lines left for you to write in what's happened, be able to keep it like that, and then when the bottle's empty, you fill it up again, you rub the writing off, and you have at it all over again. Now here's the question, team. I can source labels like that pretty easily locally for myself, and I'm thinking I might do it, you know, for aging jars and maybe kegs and stuff like that as well. But the question is, are any of you interested in getting some as well? Obviously, you want to see the design first, you want to see if they work first, all of that jazz. But the reason I ask is, if you are interested, it's kind of a pain in the ass for me to even sell them to you just because of postage and that sort of thing. So I might try and find a company that will essentially drop ship them. If you're interested, let me know. Woo! That was a lot of talking this episode. Sorry about that, guys. I will be getting onto the reflux for the bird watchers soon. I've just got a few little updates to do on my still. Don't worry, I'll keep you in the loop for that as well. Alright guys, thanks for hanging out, thanks for watching. If you liked the video, make sure to like it. If you really liked the video and you're not subscribed yet, make sure you do so down below. And I'll catch you guys next time. See ya.